So, how did I use ChatGPT to actually improve my fashion style? Or did it really improve my fashion style? I don't know. So, I have to say, during the pandemic, my sense of style took a terrific downturn. And I don't know whether it was working from home, observing the permanently leggings clad yoga mom in my neighborhood, or just like my French minimalist grooming habits that were making a triumphant comeback. Let's just say my choices, my sartorial choices, were not what they used to be. Comfort, which was a word that once felt like surrender, became my motto. And despite really a closet full of great clothes, a cabinet overflowing with potions, makeup, and other magical instruments, I just felt uninspired, a bit at a loss. I felt beige, you know. And then serendipity intervened. So thank you for being on the podcast. My name is Peggy van der Plas, and I'm really happy to have you here. So what happened to me? So one of her friends explained how he had used ChatGPT to upgrade his closet. So he photographed every item, including the suits that were, gathering dust at the back of his closet. And he asked ChatGPT for a diagnosis. And the results, he got suggestions on how to modernize pieces, change the buttons, tailor the count, clear recommendations on, what to store, what to give away based on the trends, or at least the trends that have changed in the last 15 years. And also for him, what would be his best colors, best style, best glasses, best haircut. I mean, it was less about clean out your closet, and it was more a BCG for your wardrobe, And personally, I had no intention of photographing every item I own. I mean, I'm not in the business of inventory audit, but that conversation planted a seed. So what did I do? So if you're listening to that podcast, you know that I am not big on social media. I spend waste very little time on it. And when I use it, it's really with intent. I don't scroll. I really do research with a specific intent. So I research fashion and style. And I came across a fantastic YouTuber, actually. And her name is Alisa Belmonte. And she's a Canadian and she's Italian as well. So she has a nice perspective. And she describes herself as a slow fashion stylist. So I didn't know what it was, but slow fashion, if like me, you don't know what it was, is that idea of you use what you already own instead of, panic buying an entirely new wardrobe every season. And that really resonated with me because I had zero interest in spending more money in clothes while I already had tons of clothes with, I would say, full capacity. And some of her tips were pretty simple, like add accessories, add a belt, roll up your sleeves, layer strategically. I mean, nothing revolutionary, but yet it really changed two things for me. First, the fun of getting dressed. Which I have to say I had lost quite a bit, but also the elevation factor without sacrificing comfort, I have to say. And I really, really enjoyed actually playing with some of her concepts. I also stumbled on a couple of other ideas from other creators. One, what are the best colors for your skin tone? And the second, what are the best clothes for your body shape? That seems obvious, maybe it is, but I never thought about it. Absolutely not. So this was where I went from YouTube to ChatGPT, and this is where ChatGPT became my personal stylist. So I started with, okay, well, what are my best colors, So I uploaded a couple of pictures of me, no makeup, natural light, and I asked for a color analysis. Path. In 20 seconds, I was introduced to the elusive names, I have to say, of my most flattering shades. So I would say problem number one, if like me, you're neither a painter or a stylist, a lot of these color names might as well be secret NATO codes. You know, it doesn't really tell you blue, it tells you muted cerulean with cool undertones. So I did what any rational adult would do. I did more research to understand, okay, what the names mean in terms of color. So that's slightly more complicated than it appeared. Problem number two, well, finding these hyper specific colors in my closet or even in stores is pretty impossible. So when I started explaining my endeavor to a girlfriend, she had told me, she's like, don't worry, it's pretty sure that intuitively you would have already been buying and wearing these colors, you know, the ones that are the most flattering to your skin tone. Well, not really. Apparently, I am magnetically attracted to everything that is particularly unflattering to my skin tone. Of course, unless I have spent 2 weeks in Les Echelles, transitioning from my usual ghostly pale to Mediterranean glow. So, know what? Well, you wear those unflattering pieces during these 2 weeks of radiance. Not super efficient. So again, the color diagnostic was interesting. Is it something that is extremely practical or extremely actually user-friendly? Maybe not that much. And this is when I decided, okay, let's go to the next one. I develop a closer relationship with my ChatGPT. So I uploaded 3 pictures of my face and no makeup, again, natural light from the front and profile. And my request was, okay, hair, makeup, skincare advice. And I have to say, if you think AI has no feelings, which I believe they don't, obviously, it faked pretty well the horrified comment on my hair. So apparently my unkept hair, the French girl nonchalance, does not qualify as a strategy for ChatGPT. So it was adamant that hair was the biggest opportunity for improvement. This is assuming, of course, that I'm prepared to basically become my own hairdresser, dedicate 1 hour daily to sculpting my mane, and possibly, I guess, minor in cosmetology. So in the sea of very impractical advice, I did learn a few useful things. So my left profile is stronger. I had no idea it was the case. Visibly, I have one bigger eye. My eyes are already pretty big, so one is even bigger than the other. My face is oval. No idea. I thought my face was round. I am not yet a candidate for a facelift, which was a relief. But before any type of, I don't know, glow up could be envisioned, a dermatologist appointment was highly recommended. And the usual, avoid cold and warm temperatures for my sensitive skin, which is very helpful, as you can imagine, when you are between Toronto and Abu Dhabi. So again, very helpful, very interesting, not very applicable, at least not for someone with my lifestyle and limited abilities in terms of aesthetic. So the third step, and it's back to YouTube, and it's a bit more body shape chaos. What I mean by that is that after looking at the best colors, I wanted to look at what would be my body shape and the best silhouettes for it. So I could have uploaded photos of me in my underwear to ChatGPT, but I don't know, call me old-fashioned. I chose not to. So I turned up to YouTube again, and it's where complexity exploded to a new level. So apparently I am an hourglass figure. I am tall, obviously, 5'11", and I have longer legs in proportion than my torso. Okay, so that's a start. The challenge is that combination renders the pretty generic advice nearly useless, because what flatters someone who's 5'4" with a longer bust and a hourglass figure is absolutely not optimal for me. So you add to that the Canadian weather, because 4 months of the year, you're trying to stay warm and dry, and not just because it's preferences, but just because this is survival. Most style advice feels like best case scenario from Southern California. So all of that makes it quite unrealistic, maybe a month or two a year that could work. So all of that reminded me of, the optimal diets: no meat, all meat, no fat, all fat. And me looking at that and trying to figure out what is the best diet before basically giving up and having a Nutella crepe. So again, these advice are, I guess, interesting if you fall in the perfect category of the average size, the average shape, the average everything. So, which I guess is pretty much the case of nobody. So you can get here and there little things, but not so much. So I would say the final step again was my own natural intelligence. And after 2-3 weeks of noodling with ChatGPT, with YouTube, I walked away with, good insights. Can I implement all of them? Absolutely not. Some are contradictory. Some, again, would require me to become a full-time stylist, esthetician, hairdresser, and makeup artist, which would be the ultimate multi-hyphenate, but that's not the goal in my life. But what really surprised me is that using this tool for something non-professional was eye-opening for me, because I've never really done that, to be honest. So it was actually very fun. It was quite precise, sometimes quite brutal as well, especially the feedback on my hair. But it was, again, useful. So I can already see how I can use that experiment to home design, for example. The key, as always, the same: filtering for context and preferences. So, and as always, a generous dose of critical thinking as well. And to remember that these tools are servants, they are not masters. Even in fashion, these are tools you need to use with a good a dose of critical thinking. So thank you so much for being with me today. I would love to hear your experience if you've done it, or if you want to do it now, because it was pretty fun. So thank you so much for being here, and talk to you next week. Bye bye.